Welcome to the Money Manifestation Mastery podcast with your host, Lara Waldman, where we talk all things money. Big money, big purpose, big power. Waking up your wealth for heart-centered business owners and entrepreneurs. In today's episode, we are talking about building resilience. Building the strength and resilience that's required to build your business, to create your financial foundations, to build and grow your wealth. There is an important inner game to building resilience that will be mirroring your outer game. Today's conversation is all about building the inner resilience as a business owner, as a human being, so you can show up as a more effective leader and business owner in your outer game. Let's dive in. I spend a lot of time thinking about strength and resilience, building the inner strength and resilience to build the next level of business, of finance, wealth creation, as well as different aspects of our personal life. My inner guidance shows me all of the time the inner shifts and changes that are required in order to create the outer results. And we are so results focused and externally focused, thinking that we just have to do more, push harder, work harder to create those external results. But this work of manifestation mastery is all about the power of doing the inner work first, inner transformation for outer change. And building resilience, inner resilience, is an essential key to building and creating the external results, be it in business, finance, personal life, health, relationships, home, you name it. Whatever you want to see shift and change in your external reality, the game is to begin within. What needs to shift and change within in order to create those results without they mirror each other? And manifestation masters start with the inner work. We do the inner foundational work first in order to grow out. As within, so without. Building resilience is an essential piece, particularly when it comes to running a business, growing a business, scaling a business, as well as building and creating wealth, building and creating relationships. There are skills that are required. There are muscles that need to be built in order to create those external results. Now, this is something that I have learned the hard way. I used to create from a place of push and force and hustle. I was very driven. I've always been very driven. But that drive, although it did create certain results, it led me to burnout. I was trying to push results, force results, overriding myself, overriding my emotions, overriding my nervous system, overriding my body, and eventually my body quit on me. And I learned this lesson a very long time ago at the age of 25. And that's when I really started to go on a deep dive into understanding the inner game when it comes to creating outer results. I spent a long time in the world of healing, spirituality, doing energy work, and experiencing exceptional results for my clients and myself. But when it came to the game of business, when I was guided to really grow and build a business and a much bigger business and grow my finances, I was really overwhelmed by what I was seeing. Because at the time, I didn't even have a business, not really. I mean, technically I did. I was registered as a business, but I was really not acting like a business. And my finances were pretty much non-existent. I wasn't making any money in my business. So even though I had this great service and this exceptional skill and this gift and this talent that I'd worked on for many years, when it came to business and finance, there was a great gaping hole. There was a great weakness within me. So this was the inner battle I had with my inner guidance, because I was being shown this business that wanted to be grown and created. I was shown the finances that wanted to go along with that. I was shown who I was as a leader and a business owner. And this is the version of myself I call future wealthy me. And this part of myself was speaking to me many, many years ago. And I was in complete freeze around it because I had zero idea how I was going to get from where I was at that time into the future self. And also I was missing skills, but also it completely overwhelmed me. It looked like hard work. It looked hard. It looked difficult. And at that time I was deep in the spiritual realms, blissing out in those higher dimensions, swanning around. And I quite honestly didn't want to build a business. I had zero interest in making money. I wasn't interested in business. I wasn't interested in money. But I recognized that I was being called into something more that was beyond me, beyond my mind and beyond my lived experience. And what I realized is I'd lost trust in that part of myself, the powerful, driven part of myself, because that part of me burnt me out. That part of me made me sick. And that part of me was very lonely. And I had found a place of home and peace in the spiritual world, in the healing world. And I had found a sense of inner peace, and I didn't want to disrupt that. So I was very concerned about what it would mean for my life in order to move forward. Now, luckily, when we follow the steps of manifestation mastery, it's one steady, stable, consistent step at a time. So I didn't skyrocket from zero to hero in 12 weeks, 12 months. It took me time. It took me time also because I was in huge resistance for a very long time. And I was seeing the vision, but I wasn't taking the aligned action. And that's why it took me so long. So slowly but surely, I've been building business muscles. I've been building wealth muscles. I've been building the inner strength and resilience in order to show up, to create and lead in my business. And this is my passion now. And what I do is I hold space for big-hearted business owners, leaders, professionals, change makers to support you with your inner game in order to create powerfully on the outside. And what I know is that any pain, problem, challenge, setback, failure, issue that you're dealing with will be mirroring something that is going on inside. Not always directly, but indirectly. It will show you where there's a hole, where there's a leak, where there's a weakness, where there's missing information, where there's lack of skills or lack of education. And I love working with those pain and problems consciously and mindfully because it's going to grow you and evolve you. But the problem is, us human beings, we have a fragility. We are defensive and protective and armored. And we don't want to feel that weakness. We don't want to feel that vulnerability. We don't want anyone to know that we don't know what we're doing. So we armor up, soldier up, mask, pretend, buffer, hide. And in doing that, that's what creates the leaks. That's what creates the blocks to growing, to scaling, to evolving in every area of your life, but particularly this mirrors in the game of business and finance. So in order to grow, in order to scale, in order to get those external results that you want, you need to have the inner resilience. Now, this inner resilience is part of the game. It's an essential part of the game. And there's a number of levels and layers to building resilience, building inner resilience. Once I started dismantling some of my blocks, my protection, my armor, working through old trauma, I stepped into a very vulnerable part of myself, a very sensitive part of myself. And this was a really important part of my healing journey, and is still a part of my journey, learning how to hold and be with the vulnerable, the sensitive, the gifts. It's a really huge piece to manifestation mastery. But at the same time, I created fragility. And this is the shadow of spirituality, because it can create a weakness at the same time. Because I was blissing out in the energy of things, which was beautiful, and I needed it to bring the mask down, to bring the armor down, to soften, to open, to relax, to feel safe. But then there was another level for me around the rebuilding from there. And it took me a while to get that. So as we dismantle the old patterns, programs, protection, habits, all of that, and the releasing of our blocks and barriers to manifesting, we also need to rebuild from the ground up. What does it mean to be strong? What does it mean to be powerful? What does it mean to be resilient as a big-hearted business owner, entrepreneur, leader? What does that mean? Because we have so much distortion and misalignment around power and business and money. And when you're wanting to be a leader, business owner that's in integrity, that's in alignment with your values, my language is heart, body, soul aligned, this requires deep foundational shifts. So we need to build resilience in alignment with your heart, body, and soul, build strength so that you can lead, so that you can show up, so that you can create, so that you can build. What would happen to me is anytime my trauma was triggered and every time I felt stressed or anytime I had a failure, I would shut down and collapse against myself. And it would take me quite a long time to get back in the game again. And over time, with reps in the game, what I've noticed is my bounce back time is just faster. It doesn't mean I don't get triggered or challenged. I just bounce back a lot faster. So I built resilience. I built this bounce back where something that took me, knocked me out for months or weeks or days, now I can shift maybe in a few minutes or a few moments or a day. So part of building resilience is about how you navigate through the ups and downs of business, the ups and downs of life, the wins and the losses, the challenges that arise. So when it comes to building resilience in business and finance and in life, we're talking about resilience of the mind, resilience of the emotions, and resilience of the body. So on a body level, we're looking at health and physical strength and a regulated nervous system. We want you to feel safe and stable and secure on a body level, that you're taking care of this beautiful body, because you know that without this body and without vitality, it is very hard to create effectively. So on the body level, we're looking at building that physical resistance through your physical strength, your physical health, and on a nervous system level. On a mind level, we're looking at building resilience so that you're coming from a place of mental balance. So many of us hyperfixate, ruminate, leak a lot of energy on things that are simply a waste of time. So you want to build that mental resilience that will help you to focus on the right things and shift that mindset and shift that point of view. That is a skill, and that is another type of strength to work with your mind. And there's also emotional resilience, your capacity to feel. This is also a skill. It is a skill to learn how to manage your emotions, to feel the feelings that you don't want to feel, and alchemize them, transform them, to bring you back into emotional balance. That is a skill that we are not taught. So emotional resilience is an essential part of leadership and running a business. Building resilience is about how you hold yourself as a leader, how you hold yourself as a human. And my vision for heart, body, soul aligned leadership and business owners and business is we are creating safe spaces, supportive spaces, strong and boundaried spaces for exceptional work to take place. Great communication, great team management, great and exceptional care for our clients, for our customers, for our team. We're showing up from this beautifully powerful, resilient place and creating exceptional spaces for other people to grow in, to evolve in, through every level and every layer of your business, from the foundations, the systems and structures, for your clients and customers, everyone who's receiving your service, from your team, everyone who works with you, everyone that you come into contact with as a business owner and leader should be better because of you. And this is how you create an impact. This is how you create ripples in the world. Who you're being and how you're being impacts others directly and indirectly in known ways, but in mostly unknown and unseen ways. So this is what you have to ask yourself is, who do you want to be as a business owner, as a human being in this world? How do you want to be? And this isn't about being perfect, because you are going to fail over and over again. But this is about getting back into the saddle when you fall off the horse and taking responsibility for yourself and what's going on. It's very normal, especially when you feel full, overwhelmed, stressed, beyond yourself, dealing with all sorts of pain and problems, to have reactions. So a lot of leaders are very reactive, or to be avoiding pain and problems that are going on, or defensive if someone calls you out for something, or armored up, not letting anyone in, not letting anyone know that you're struggling. There are so many ways that a lack of resilience shows up, particularly in business and particularly in leadership. And it creates a lot of problems for all the relationships around you that will mirror in your business relationship, your relationship with money, your relationship with your team, your relationship with your clients, your relationship, outside of business. It mirrors everywhere, because wherever you go, there you are. Wherever you go, there you are. The problem is we just can't see ourselves. And this is why the game of business is so powerful, because it's going to mirror yourself back to yourself, the good and the bad. So what we're looking for is building resilience to help you move out of reaction into aligned action. And one of the ways that I do this is by helping you connect to future wealthy you, who you need to become in order to create the results that you want, that future version of you. And we start to build that connection now. And this is very much like going to the gym and building those muscles. We start with small little weights and build slowly but surely, get those reps in. And at first, if you haven't been lifting any weights and you're physically very weak, it can feel like nothing, or it can feel like a huge mountain to climb, or impossible, or what's the point, or this feels too hard. God, I'm just lifting 1 kilogram weights when I'm supposed to be lifting 100 kilogram weights. What is the point? I might as well just give up. Because here's the thing. When you start building resilience, there'll be certain muscles that you haven't used yet. There are certain places of weakness that live inside of you on the physical level, emotional level, or mind level that will be mirroring into weaknesses in your business, in your finances, and your life. And we don't like to feel weak. That brings up all sorts of feelings. Not good enough, shame, fear. But the truth is, if you are going to build resilience in every area of your life, starting within, you are going to have to suck in the beginning. You're going to have to fail a lot. And that doesn't feel good. That feels bad in the beginning. So think about an example of exercise. If you haven't exercised for days or weeks or months, when you start The first time feels really hard. Just getting yourself there feels hard. And then it feels like a slog and it feels heavy. But slowly but surely, as you keep going, it starts to feel less and less hard. And then slowly but surely in time, you start to feel better and better. And slowly but surely in time, you start to notice results. Not necessarily immediately, but you can build over time. And this is the same with whatever it is that you need to face and strengthen. At first, it's going to feel really bad and really hard. But if you keep doing it, taking those small, consistent baby steps, you will build resilience. You will build strength. It took me so long to get this because anytime I came up against that inner brick wall or outer brick wall, feeling like it was impossible to move forward, I would just collapse and want to quit and think, what's the point? And I went into so many stories about what that meant about me being a failure and a fuck up. And I had a lot of mental noise about it. Lots of stories about other people, lots of stories about myself. And my body would go into a freeze response and a flight response. It would make me exhausted and sometimes even burn me out. So I would get into a real mess on all levels. And this is how I learned this. My future wealthy me, my inner guidance showed me what I needed to do step by step. It was like, take one little baby step, Lara. The aligned action was always not very sexy, not that exciting, seemed kind of pointless. I'm like, but I'm trying to get to this big business game, this big money game. What's the point? I can't even, make one sale. I can't even do one post. What's the point? This feels way too hard. But my guidance showed me, future wealthy me said, this is your next step. And this truly is how we build resilience. We start one wobbly, imperfect, uncomfortable, hard step at a time. And it's about taking those steps, one step, two step. Building resilience is a bit like going to rehab because you're going to need to learn things and build muscles in places that you haven't met before. And this is the beauty about building a business in alignment with your heart, body, and soul, or in integrity with all aspects of yourself. It's going to bring all of you into the game. And I believe it's really important that business owners and leaders can honor and acknowledge their weaknesses. Acknowledge where the gaps are. Acknowledge the missing pieces. Acknowledge the missing skills or the lack of education or the lack of experience. And in the acknowledging of those weaknesses or those holes or those gaps, you open up the doors to support. There may be other people that have solutions for you. This is part of the rewiring to receive. If you're soldiered up and masked on, presenting as if you've got everything together, you actually block yourself from receiving support. But to welcome support in requires vulnerability. It requires admitting the weakness. And of course, it's also important to acknowledge all your strengths. You've got many strengths and many skills, but if you think about how you built those skills and you built that strength, it wasn't overnight. You built that over time. Reps in the game. And those are your skills that you offer the world, right? People give you money for those skills, for that experience. But that took you time. So there's some things that you do really well. The work that I've been doing for over 20 years, I can do standing on my head. Freaking love it. It's easy for me now. But it wasn't in the beginning. I've put hours and hours and hours and hours. I've invested all of my time and energy into developing those skills. So what looks really easy for me isn't something that was easy in the beginning. I didn't know how to do it at some point. It was completely new at some point. So as you're wanting to grow and evolve and build that resilience in business, finances, or life, there are going to be some things that you do not know how to do. You're missing skills, you don't have the education, you don't have the support. And that is a really important piece to acknowledge, so you know the support to bring in. But the inner game is where that lives inside of you, right? What's missing within. And this is the really powerful piece that we do inside of the manifestation mastery work. So what I've learned over time through a lot of failure is that the ability to hold myself through the ups and downs of life, the losses and the wins, the uncertainty, mirrors my capacity to hold my business, to lead in my business and my finances. Your inner game mirrors your outer game. And this is part of the rewiring to receive. We need to build your capacity to receive in order to be able to receive outside of you. And so that can feel slow and hard in the beginning, but it is 100% worth it and essential if you're going to grow strong foundations within and without. So what we do inside of the Manifestation Mastery work is take you through my step-by-step process. Essentially, how to come back into balance on a body level, on an emotional level, on a mind level. Come back into alignment with where you're going, this future wealthy you, and help you to hold yourself through the ups and the downs, through the unknowns, through what feels like weakness and failure, and build those muscles one step at a time. It is the work that most people are unwilling to do, most people will never do, and this is why I honor you deeply. You are so brave for being willing to face yourself and to look and to lean in. This is the most exceptional journey of growth and evolution and transformation, and a really important part of the game of business and wealth creation. And once you can get that it's a game and it's part of the game, then you can start to enjoy the game, or at least embrace the game and lean in. Lean in so you can leading from that future wealthy you, that heart, body, soul aligned version of you, the version of you that's in wholeness, the version of you that is connected to your heart, that's out of survival and here to thrive and help others to do the same. As you give this to yourself, you truly send ripples and change to the outside world as well. So I'm wondering what's landing for you in today's conversation. Where do you notice there's weakness? Where do you need to build resilience? What is next for you? And every time you're about to step into the new, you're going to be exposed to the weakness. You're going to see the lack. You're going to see what isn't. You need to see that because that's where you need to build. And this is on the ground. This is the base chakra. This is the foundations of yourself, your body, business, bank account. And be willing to work with it. What do I need to build strength and resilience? And not from a force, push, ego place, from a place of deep listening. Deep listening. Business and leadership requires resilience. And it will make your journey so much smoother and so much easier as you navigate the ups and downs of business, wealth creation, and life. So if you are ready to lean into the support that is required to keep going in this game, becoming a manifestation master, a stronger leader, business owner, custodian of wealth on this planet, I have a very special offer for you. It has never been possible up until now to work with me on this level. Up until now, you've only been able to work with me for a minimum of $6,000 and a minimum of 12 months. And I was guided to create a new offer where you can come in and work with me and be well supported for a fraction of the time and a fraction of the price. We have launched the Living Abundance Mastermind, which is an exceptional space and program to help you do just this. We work with big-hearted, highly skilled business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and professionals. We do beautiful, deep diving transformation work, and you will be receiving all the support that is required to keep going, to keep building, to keep creating. And we have incredible stories, incredible results from past clients. And I'd like you to lean into this offer because this is a special offer that's only available for a very short window. You can head over to my website, larawaldman.com, and check out the Living Abundance Mastermind. We'll put the link inside the notes as well. And I want you to lean in and really tune in to see if this is the next level, best step to take for you to move forward. Because I know how incredibly painful it is to be stuck, frustrated, setback after setback. I don't want you to suffer for as long as I did. I don't want you to wait for as long as I did, because the time is now and you are being called. Your soul, your heart is calling you forward. It is time for you to show up. It is time for you to lead. It is time for you to bring your gifts out on a whole new level. And also, it's fun. It's exciting to come alive into who you truly are. This next level of you, this next level of business, this next level of finance that is ready and waiting for you on the other side. So come to my website, larawaldman.com, check out the special offer. It's for a limited time, so do not wait. And I look forward to being with you on the inside very soon. Thank you for joining us for today's conversation, building resilience in your business, in your finances, in your life. I would love to know what is landing for you. Please don't hesitate to reach out with your feedback, with any questions. I would love to hear from you. And if you haven't already, make sure to follow and subscribe to this podcast to never miss an episode. And I look forward to being with you again next time.